Wow, that couldn't get any worse. I don't know what happened with my intro.
Who needs a freaking intro? It's Johnny Deathdrop,
Hold
Coastal
up.
Crusader, and the Encyclopedia Lucas Bradwell, darn
Hold
it.
up. Oh, that's gone too? God damn it. God.
Johnny, what is happening tonight?
I got no words. Put it that way. We have no words here. Where did it all go? Oh, I know what happened. Hold up. I might have to go retrieve them. I think I accidentally threw them in the bin.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
What are you doing, buddy?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about the show. It's charge time. Recharged.
Nope, that's not it. That's not it. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dudes and Belts Recharge here on YouTube. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, as I'm trying to fix everything on the fly here. And what a go-home episode we have for you this evening to talk about. Before we get into everything, let's introduce the panel for tonight. On the left, we have the one that lives way up there on the east coast of Maine, the inventor of the beacon of the week, the one and only Coastal Crusader.
What is going on, everybody? It's Tuesday night. It's charged. It's the go-home charge. And the only thing hotter than playoff hockey right now is charged.
And the one on the right, he is the voice of Ignition. He is RMP's encyclopedia, the one and only Lucas freaking Bradwell.
Well, guys, I had a little relapse on this episode, a little mental relapse. I got a little anxiety, but I promise you, I am all good for this recharge. I am hyped and ready to talk about it because we're only a few days away from peak of the pack, and I've got to get top of my game. So let's freaking go.
Absolutely, Lucas. Hey, we all have good days. We all have bad days. It's going to be a good one today.
Where did the... There it is. Okay.
Johnny,
I think I fixed it. Hold up. I don't even know if it's working. Where's my OBS? Nope, it's not working. God. I give up.
All right, well, we'll just do the show.
I give up. Let's just do the show.
Yeah, let's get in the first segment.
All right. Yeah, let's not waste any time here. There's a lot to talk about here. Before we get into like the meat and potatoes of what happened here this evening, as always, folks, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to Rocky Mountain Pro and hit the notification button so you don't miss any charge episodes or Dudes and Belts live content here on this channel weekly. And as always, folks, leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. We really appreciate all you guys watching, as always. All right. Coastal.
Yo.
We'll start with you. Preston and Lilith. Trying to find a way to defeat the Asylum at peak of the pack, but it looks like Lilith has other things on her mind.
Yeah, Lilith isn't buying into any of this Preston, I want to help you, you help me BS. We all know Preston's out for one thing, and that's Preston, and whoever he's representing makes him a good lawyer. Not always the best partner. And Lilith wasn't having any of it. What we do see here at the end is surprisingly a miracle, Johnny. And Lucas, it's a miracle Preston can walk.
Yeah, yes, obviously he went to one of those, televangelical pastors that are on TV, and that Benny Hinn or whatever, and blessed him with the power. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Blessed him with the power of not only the power of orange, but the power of healing. So listen, this shyster, he will do anything. He will take any angle that he can get to further his career. He's not trying to further Lola. Lola just happens to be his client, and Lola's his meal ticket right now because of J.K. Pop, and they're not able to get a title shot of any time soon. And Sky Hossman has kind of been falling short as of So Lola's his meal ticket, and he's looking to get any angle, and he's trying to get Lilith Grimm on his side somehow. Yeah, good luck with that. We know Lilith. She's independent.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's promising things he can't deliver. He doesn't make matches, right? He can't determine who the number one contender will be if Lola beats JC at Peak of the Pack, and he's already promising those matches. He can't do that. He's literally writing checks he cannot cash.
Right. Well, I can break some news, though. I can tell you that Luke Grimm will, in fact, face Noel at Peak of the Pack. Mm-hmm. So that part I do know. Whether or not that grants Lilith a title shot if she can defeat Noel, I'm not sure, but we will see.
All right.
Johnny, are you there?
I'm just testing stuff, that's all. Since this show has already gone off the rails right from the get-go, it doesn't hurt to try.
It's fine. It's a Tuesday.
It's been a rough night here, folks.
We're just talking wrestling, guys.
Hey, all right. It could be worse. The lights could go out. We'll find that out later.
I mean, the lights technically went out on the stream like 3 or 4 times, so just make sure you look around. All right.
I got that basement Happy talks about, don't I?
Now that there is some sort of agreement between Preston and Lilith, some sort of agreement, we end up supposed to have a tag team match between Noel and JC versus Lilith and Lola. However, Lilith had other thoughts and decided to book it right towards the asylum and get her hands, or at least get a taste of the asylum right before Peak of the Pack.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody thought that Lilith was going to be anywhere near restrained when it comes to being around the asylum, they should have been mistaken. That was nuts. I mean, she's wanted to get her hands on all of them for months now, and she finally is going to get her chance. We find out at Peak of the Pack, but tonight she wanted to go right now. No bell. She ran through her entrance right by her partner and Preston, who I think he had the miracle scared out of him earlier by JC when he came out, because he stood up and then he sat right back down. So whatever miracle happened, it's gone now, because he was back in the chair, and the match never really even happens. It's a brawl, and at the end, Lola tells us that she is Uno number 1, so she is number 1 contender still. But it was just a brawl, Lucas. That's all it was.
Right now, that's about all you would expect out of everyone involved. And as far as Preston's concerned, I think he realized he didn't want to have the same fate as Jamie, his assistant. So probably
hashtag justice for Jamie.
Yeah. Hey, screw Jamie. What about hashtag justice for me, justice for everyone else that's fall victim to David Drake? But no, anyways, we have this very volatile situation between the asylum, and now it's also the law office and Lilith Grimm. A lot of moving parts in this situation, and where is this going to lead? Will this lead to Lilith Grimm getting a number 1 contender spot? Is that what's top of her mind, or is it getting revenge against Noel? What is her number one goal? I mean, she's in chat right now. Maybe she'll tell us, but I think we're going to find out at Peak of the Pack just what exactly it is that she's got her eyes set on.
Well, hold up on that, because later on in this segment, you're going to find out exactly the deal is taking place going into Peak of the Pack, and possibly Milestone, depending on the results of Peak of the Pack. So we'll talk about that as we get there. But we got to talk about Lord Mitchell Taylor here.
Yeah.
We got to talk
Not
about
him. Not
We,
him.
we got to talk about Lord Mitchell Taylor and Derek Stone.
There we go.
So,
Dude,
boys,
he is the master of disguise. I didn't even realize you could blend in and be a coat rack that well with your Derek
honestly,
Stone
I
style.
had no idea he was back there. No clue.
It was great. I mean, he looks great in the royal regal robes. And he did a wonderful favor for his buddy, Lord Mitchell Taylor. He got him a match against Craig Fairley for, to, I guess, qualify for Peak of the Pack. And Lord Mitchell Taylor only asked one thing. He was real nice. He asked about Maxine, although he did mess her name up. Come on, LMT. We need to have some more class there, bud. It's Maxine. I'm sure her personality would sweep you right off your feet. And Derek Stone, he offers sit back there. You have caviar, champagne. It's just as long as he does not come out to ringside for the match. And it seems like he agrees. And Lord Mitchell Taylor, Lucas, is very happy to have this opportunity. It seems like Derek Stone did a good thing right here. Your commentary, buddy.
Yeah, he for everything that we say about Derek Stone, I think he's got good intentions for the most part. At least in his mind, he does. And yeah, thought he was doing something nice for the lordship. And this was a great opportunity for Lord Mitchell Taylor, but as we're going to talk about, it didn't kind of work out the way he thought it would.
No.
And speaking of that, we now have, from what I heard, it was a number one contenders match, but I didn't know what it was for. You have any idea, Lucas?
I thought it was a qualifier for Peak of the Pack.
Yeah, I believe he gets to qualify for. He is now part of the Peak of the Pack match, from what I understand.
So we had Lord Mitchell Taylor and Craig Fairley.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was over almost before it started because, man, Derek Stone cannot follow directions very well. We really got to work with him on following through when he says he's going to do something, because he and Maxine make an appearance and Lord Mitchell Taylor's not too happy. He turns around and Lucas, he falls victim to the most powerful move in pro wrestling, the roll-up victory for Craig Fairley, and Craig Fairley's now in Peak of the Pack.
He didn't even have to break a sweat. He literally just had to let Lord Mitchell Taylor basically fall back into him so he could roll up. It was that easy for him. Derek Stone, this is kind of what I expect out of Derek Stone, because you never know what to expect. So anything that is a possibility, that is what you expect out of Derek Stone. I don't even think he knows what he's going to do half the time. We have a conversation that before we go on to commentary on Ignition, and it's we'll talk about one thing and then all of a sudden we're talking about something completely different, and it's hard, and trust me, even for someone like me that's been battling some issues, it's been kind of hard to keep up with Derek Stone.
If RMP were the Muppets, Derek Stone is Animal. Most definitely. He is just chaos walking around.
Yes.
All right. So Craig Fairley is a qualifier for your Peak of the Pack match, and we'll get into all that at the end.
He could get another title shot and maybe avenge that loss he had earlier against David Drake.
All right. This should actually bring a little bit of worry to La Isla if they were watching this episode. Gino Rivera in this package is telling us that finally, for the first time, Gino and Nathan Estrada are one. We don't know officially what that means, but the way that he put it out, it seems like they have worked out their differences going into Peak of the Pack. What is your thoughts on what Gino said tonight?
Johnny, I I'm a fairly big dude. We know this. I'm pretty strong. I don't trust Gino Rivera as far as I can throw him. And I certainly don't trust this at all. To me, this smells like he's trying to get one over on Laisa. He's trying to get them to worry. And here's why I think that. For everything that he said and all the confidence he instilled that they are one, I never once saw Nathan Estrada in that promo. Now, if you are one with your tag team partner, don't you think he'd be there? That's just my opinion, Lucas. I don't know about you, but if they were cohesive, I think they would be together right before this big match.
So, normally I would say, yeah, you can't trust Gino Rivera, but there is one thing that I do know about Gino Rivera. I've known him a long time. He doesn't play around when it comes to titles. That's what he lives for in this business. So it's about winning as many titles. I don't know if you guys follow him on social media.
I do, yeah.
The guy wins titles everywhere he goes. And, I mean, he just racks them up. And he has told me personally that the one thing that he has eluded him during his career is winning a title at Rocky Mountain Pro, and that is one thing that he would almost cherish more than anything else. So I have to tend to believe that he has worked something out with Nathan Estrada, whether they've come to some kind of agreement. Maybe he finally realized, look, if I'm gonna have any shot at winning this, I need to get Nathan Estrada on the same page. And maybe he finally is seeing what I've seen in Nathan Estrada, what I think both of you have seen in Nathan Estrada, and that's the kid is talented, extremely talented. And if he can, work some cohesiveness, get some teamwork going, they've got a legitimate shot because they're both extremely talented. As talented as Balaam Lynx is and Echo, Gino Rivera is up there with them, and I think Nathan Estrada has the ability to be right there with all those guys. So you get those two talents together on the same page, they may be almost just as talented, if not just as talented, as Echo and Balaam. So this could be a thing, guys. I'm telling you, if Gino is serious, and I believe that he is, this could be a dangerous team.
I 100% agree with you. Nathan Estrada has the ability to be that next top tier guy here in this company. He is explosive. He's high flying. He has charisma. He needs to put it together. And if he truly has gone under Gino Rivera's wing and started to learn, there's no better person to learn from than a man that is as accomplished as Gino Rivera, who I think is a simultaneous title holder in many other promotions at this current moment. He chases gold, he collects gold. Lucas is absolutely right. If those two can work together, and they have, absolutely this is a threat for La Isla. What worries me, though, is, again, I come from a football background. I was a team player in football. Your team, when you're together, you're around each other a lot. It surprised me to not see Nathan Estrada in that promo.
Well, and maybe that's by design. Maybe Gino, Gino doesn't want to have, La Isla having too much film on them, having something to scout, and maybe it's a little gamesmanship by, maybe giving La Isla a false sense of security, maybe even. So there's a lot of things in play. Believe me, Gino Rivera thinks of all this stuff.
Absolutely, he is a master of gamesmanship.
All right, speaking of gamesmanship, these next opponents that we're going to be talking about, Brew versus Sky Horseman. Now, these two have been excelling over on Ignition. I believe Brew is right now at the top of the list with 3 points and the chase for 5 to be able to compete for that Ignition championship down the line if he keeps on going on this roll. Sky Horseman, a former Ignition champion in his own right. These two have been tearing it up on Thursday nights. And what we saw tonight, I don't think we expected the turnout that we actually saw.
No, absolutely. I didn't. This was a pretty one-sided affair, and I absolutely didn't see that. Sky Hossman surprised me. He came out and he went right at Brew and he started laying in the shots pretty heavy to the upper part of Brew and really kind of got him off his feet. And I mean, I know Lola kind of distracted in the beginning, but still, like, I did not expect Sky Hossman to match power with Brew here, and he did very much so. And especially here near the end, he gets him up and he kind of holds him in that fireman's carry for a while and shows off a bit. I don't know if Brew was maybe just not feeling up to it. Maybe he has an injury. I know he's got the head issue, and I don't know if that was bothering him, but it just didn't seem like him tonight. And Sky Hossman picks up a huge win here. This is, like Johnny said, a guy rolling like Brew. He's rolling in victories, and Sky Hossman, as much as we crap on the guy, you know, maybe he has a little drinking problem. As we find out after the match, he definitely has an attitude problem. But he definitely doesn't have a winning problem because he's doing a lot of that. I absolutely, Lucas, think it's disgusting what he did at the end with that flask when he hit Brew in the back of the head.
Yeah, that was uncalled for. No need for it. It kind of just goes to show you that he's a great competitor, but as far as being a class act, he is not. He's not one of those guys that I want to hang out with after.
Well, look at who he's aligned with.
Well, yeah, of course, and that's.
Let's not lump Lola into that category, okay? I still have hope for Lola.
As do I. I still am baffled by that, but that's another discussion. It's just what I don't get is if you're that good, like Sky Hossman is, and you're able to just get a victory, why not just go be a professional, go about your business, and stop with all the extracurricular crap that's unneeded? I just don't get it. Brew is just trying to compete as well. Brew is on a mission. He's trying to, basically he's trying to become the next Ignition champion. That's his goal. He's told me that's his goal. And this was an opportunity for him to make a name for himself on Charge. Unfortunately, tonight, Sky Hossman was just the better man. Sky Hossman has been on a roll as of late, and I think that that little feud that he had, with some of that MMA fighting that he had with Craig Fairley, I think kind of helped to bring out a little more aggressive side out of Sky Hossman. And we're seeing a little bit more aggression, and maybe that's what prompted that little extracurricular crap that we saw.
Well, I think it's that, but I think more so he unlocked an aggressive side, like you said, but he's absorbing from his surroundings, and I think that little bit at the end was the J.K. Pop influence.
We all set with Brew versus Sky?
Yeah.
All right. Lucas, I'm going to start with you here on this one because I want you to paint a picture for me here. We saw the package with Salem and Noel. I want you to kind of set the stage and what opportunity that Lilith actually has going in the peak of the pack on Friday. The possibilities of what could happen after this event on Friday. Set the stage for me.
Well, it's pretty simple. At least I think it is. If she can defeat Noel, which we know that she's capable of. It looks like she's going to get a title shot at Milestone against JC if indeed JC is the champion, because I think Lola's got a great shot of beating JC. I think that there's a lot of things going on in the asylum that I think Lola can effectively pull out a huge upset at peak of the pack. So there's a lot of things in play.
What's her advantage going into this match against JC?
Lola's advantage?
Yes.
I think right now that I think they're looking ahead. The asylum is. I think they're looking ahead. I think they've been more focused on Lilith than they have on Lola. They've been trying to get under the head of Lilith and trying to get this demon out. We've seen them almost primarily focused on up until last week when the message being sent with what happened to poor Jamie and all that. But up until this point, it seems like they have been preoccupied with Lilith. I think Lola is flying under the radar, and they are going to be underestimating. We know, Coastal, just when you underestimate Lola, she's probably what I would call the upset queen of the Lockheads division.
Yeah, no, you can't ever underestimate Lola. Look at some of the victories she has in just last year. She's beaten Malaya Hosaka. She beat JC before JC became the dark, ominous one that she is now. She beat Lilith. I mean,
yeah, numerous times she's beaten Lilith. So yeah,
you absolutely can never count out Lola, ever. And I think Lucas is right. If they look past her, or if they don't have all of their, I'd say ducks, but that's too wholesome. I guess satanic goats or whatever in a row, they're going to end up walking out with no gold. And I don't know what's scarier, them having the power or them not having the power and wanting it back. Because I don't know what Salem is willing to do to get what he wants.
Over the past few weeks,
I don't want to find out either.
Yeah.
Over the past few weeks, have you seen any sort of weakness to the Asylum that you think, and I'm not specifically Lola in her match against JC, but Lilith as well, because both of them are kind of going head on with the Asylum this Friday. Have you noticed any weakness or any type of odd happenings with the Asylum over the course of the past few weeks?
I guess the only thing, because they're very strong, and you really have to pick and prod to find a weakness, but I think it's what Lucas is touching on, is they really haven't paid 100% attention to Lola. And that is the next person in line. It's really been about 85-15, more focused on Lilith and trying to recruit the demon, bring the demon out. Well, if you're not careful and you concentrate too much on the demon, the backpack is going to hit you upside the head and you're going to walk out with no jewelry.
And let's not forget that Lola now has the law office behind her. She has the full she has the full arsenal of the law office.
I'm pretty sure Caden will do anything to help Lola.
Yeah, and I believe now that JK Pop can't get a title shot against Lisa until they lose, that maybe they figure, well, we kind of need to get some gold in the law office, at least a little bit. So maybe this is a good opportunity to even get Casanova behind them, and of course Sky Hossman, and they've got the numbers game. If you look at it, they really do. They have the numbers game over the Asylum. So there's a lot of things that are in play here for Lola that she hopefully can take advantage, or at least for her sake, that she can take advantage of.
Unfortunately, I do see, and I'm pretty sure the law office will be there as well in support of Lola. Unfortunately, I don't think Salem's going to be the only one at ringside. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a handful of orderlies as well. You got to remember the silent army that they have.
Well, if those orderlies show up, Casanova's running away because he's scared. That dude is, if the law office is Scooby-Doo and crew, he is Shaggy, and he is piecing out as quick as he can. Like Zoinks, Caden.
That's pretty good. Not bad. All right. We have another matchup, and this has been a rivalry that has been going on over the past couple months here on Charge. Manny Lemons going one-on-one with Cash Flow. What are your thoughts on this one, gentlemen? This was a hard-hitting one, for sure. And for the most part, about 90% of it was all Cash Flow.
It really was, and I much prefer to call Mr. Lemons what Remy called him, Madeline Lemons. I think
it's Madeline. It's Madeline grapefruits, just to be
Madeline
specific.
grapefruits. Okay, yeah, Madeline grapefruits. No, I mean, props to Manny Lemons, who keeps trying to get one up on cash flow. He does tonight. We'll get there. But props to him for even still stepping in the ring, because cash flow found an equalizer for the Skylar Slice problem in Malaya Hosaka. And as we've seen, especially in that street fight, those two, they got quite the feud going on by themselves. But cash flow really, he zested Manny really well tonight. A lot of big chops, as we have come to find from cash flow. The chop shop is open quite often. And he really is having his way with Manny. And it's not really until there's some outside commotion from the broadcast booth, because we do have CBD and Remy Du, who will go one-on-one on at Peak of the Pack on commentary. As we know, Remy has a history with Mr. Lemons. And they kind of start fighting. We do get to see CBD eat a wonderful fist from Malaya Osaka. But that kind of gives Manny what he needs to take his weight belt off, and he cracks cash flow right in the safe deposit box in the face with that weight belt. Gets the win. Lucas, I mean, is this a big win for Manny Lemons, or is this just kind of he can puff his chest out and peacock around for a little bit until cash flow catches up with him?
Hey, anytime you can get a win over a guy the caliber of cash flow, it's a big win. So if I'm Manny Lemons, yeah, I'm happy about this win. I still don't think that this feud is over. It's been one of the better rivalries that we've seen on Charged. It's been consistent. Seen a lot of back and forth. Cash flow has been the more aggressive, but he now looks like Manny Lemons, if found an opportunity to get the better of cash flow and a big win. So we'll see if this rivalry continues as we kind of enter into milestone season. But yeah, Manny's, this is something he can put under his belt and maybe move on from here. We'll see what happens.
All right. Moving on, we have our main event of the evening. Before we get into that, of course, we do have a returning, as a matter of fact, RMP supporter in D-Hort13, becoming a member for 2 months here on the channel. Well, thank you, D-Hort. Greatly appreciate you.
Yeah, and thank you for the kind words, D-Hort, as well. Yes, and Ned, thank you.
All right. Main event time, boys. Warlord of Weird versus the final boss. Who would have thought? Two polar opposites on the spectrum here. What'd you have on this one?
This was a really, really, really good match. I could have done it without Atiba on commentary, because I just really did. He didn't add a thing to it. His commentary skills. I'd rather listen to Triple I do commentary than Atiba, and that says something. But getting into the match, I mean,
apparently
this was
nobody
scary.
wanted to do commentary with Atiba.
Apparently not.
I really don't blame him, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, Dean has a big announcement coming up, and then we find out that the other two guys that were doing commentary beat each other up. Lucas needed a break. I mean,
yeah, I wasn't gonna go back out there. Forget that.
Yeah, so I mean, it was getting violent out there, so everyone just needed a break. And I mean, he looked like the boss of old tonight for a lot of this match. Really took it to a veteran like Sin Bodhi. And I'll tell you what, Sin Bodhi is terrifying. I have been within inches of him, and it is the scariest moment of my 38 years on this earth. I don't really like to talk about it. It's scary.
The shorts are hanging up on his wall right now.
Stop. It did not happen.
Sure did.
But boss, he's handling this, and then all of a sudden Atiba shows up at ringside, and I don't know if Atiba hasn't figured out yet, but boss is free. He is a free man. He does not need to be around you anymore. Just leave him alone. But Atiba cannot leave anything well enough alone. He has to be the center of attention. He's like a kid at KB Toys that didn't get his own way, throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of the aisle. You're going to notice him. And he thinks he can get one up tonight, and he hits Boss with the bat, and he thinks, I mean, Boss gets a win, and I'll tell you what, it's a good thing Boss asked for this match to be restarted, Lucas. Now, I know he didn't win, but it's a good thing he did for Atiba's sake, because if Sin Bodhi had taken this loss, he would have found Atiba and beaten the dragon out of him. Because I'm very much sure that after Atiba got done bouncing Bruce Wayne's head on the mat after it restarted and getting the 3, he's probably looking for Atiba at this very moment.
Yes. So for Atiba's sake, it is a good thing that Boss, did the stand-up thing, asked for a reset of the match. He didn't have to, so you got to give Boss credit.
Absolutely.
As he has now has his freedom, he's feeling a little bit more like his old self, and trying to do things the way that he would have done them in the past. And so he is trying to get that competitive edge back. And unfortunately for him, it didn't work out at the end, because he did end up losing the match. So it is an official L in the loss column. But still, I think that Boss it still has remnants of Atiba as far as what happened with him being under Atiba's servitude. And I think that Atiba's not ready to give that up quite yet. He's just, even though he hasn't accepted it anyways. So I think Atiba's going to be a thorn in his side for a long time if Bossy does not handle it. And eventually I think he will handle it Bossy style.
Yeah, I agree. I think this Atiba problem will be squashed very quickly by Boss.
What are the chances that they're paired up for the peak of the pack?
The way that things go in Rocky Mountain, it's either going to be 0 or 100. But you know what? There's a little part of the Coastal Crusader that absolutely hopes that happens. Atiba's got a bad record at the peak of the pack with his partners. Do we remember Severino Corrente?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and buenos noches, Balaam, mi amigo in chat.
Hey, Balaam. All right. On with the announcement that we've been waiting for all night from El Presidente himself, Danger Dean. What are your thoughts on his decision to suspend Sledge indefinitely? I'm sure, Lucas, you have your own personal feelings on this matter, obviously. We'll start with Coastal first.
Now, I know last week we had this thing where he got attacked, and Lucas and I kind of took different sides. After this announcement is made and Dak Draper comes out and voices his concerns, I have got to kind of err on that side now. I don't know if suspending Sledge was the best idea. Maybe, saying that he lost his match, that'd be one thing. I think that would have been plenty, but I don't think you could take Sledge out of this locker room right now and make it a safer environment. It's not a safe environment right now, Dean. I know I have no business saying anything about this, but in my humble opinion, it's scary back there. You got people getting chloroformed. You got announcers getting kidnapped. You have people we haven't seen in months, almost a whole year, because of David Drake. The problem is not Sledge, it is Drake. I understand you have to do something. You can't put your hands on an official. But him losing his title shot at peak of the pack would have been enough. I think this creates an even more dangerous environment because Sledge was at least one person who was standing up to Drake, Lucas.
Finally we agree on this situation. And let's not, I don't want to get anyone confused on how I feel about Danger Dean. I respect Danger Dean immensely. Absolutely. I respect what he has done as president, but he has not handled this David Drake situation well at all. He has basically tried to almost ignore at times what David Drake has done, and the fact that you're going to penalize and punish the one guy that has been willing to face David Drake head on and not be scared and try to take David Drake out. You're gonna punish that guy? I don't quite understand that. And it's now, I mean, Dak Draper, I've known him for over a decade, and he has never been one to back down from anybody or be afraid. But you could tell.
He looked a little scared, Lucas. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, he is, because this goes beyond the wrestling. This goes beyond the ring. David Drake, what he has done is not, it's beyond the ropes. We're talking about people's lives being at stake when it comes to David Drake, at least their well-being. So Dak Draper, he has all the reason in the world to feel the way he does, and he questioned Dean, who's one of his best friends. These guys are former tag team partners, part of the tag team Dangerously Handsome. They've known each other since before their time with Rocky Mountain Pros, so we're talking a long time. And Dak is basically told him this was not the smart thing to do, and then we saw what happened at the very end, or at least we can kind of speculate on what happened. The lights go out, and the one thing though I did hear, and I don't know if you heard this or not, Coastal, but when Dean and Yaden were and some other guys were tending to Dak Draper, we saw some blood.
Yeah,
but I heard.
Blood.
Yeah, but I heard Dean and I heard a couple other guys say it's not Dak's blood. It's not his blood. He wasn't bleeding. So what the hell happened?
I didn't catch that, but if it's not Dak's blood,
whose is it?
Yeah, that's creepy. That it's not creepy. It's odd. I mean, did Dak get a shot in on whoever attacked him before he got his lights turned out? Maybe.
Yeah, I distinctly heard that being said, that it was not. It's not his blood. So I don't have any more word than that. But yeah, there was no lacerations or anything on Dak Draper. So very confusing situation.
Hey, maybe if someone tried to chloroform him again, maybe he was prepared, and maybe he had a surprise this time for them before he went out.
He still got put out somehow. So, very confusing situation. But as far as we know, at this time, Dak Draper is the number one contender to the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say this. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate because I agree with what you're saying on the matter. But should Sledge be facing some type of disciplinary action for putting his hands on Dean?
Absolutely, and I think him losing his title shot at the peak of the pack would have been plenty, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there had to be some punishment. You can't put your hands on an official, especially not the president. But an indefinite suspension, that's too much, especially given the circumstances. So I'm not a fan of this decision. I think that stripping him of his rematch or a chance at the RMP championship would have been more than sufficient. This I believe is a huge mistake by Danger Dean. I hope it doesn't come back to bite him, because this whole situation just isn't good, guys. It really isn't.
No.
It seems like Dean is afraid to do anything with Drake because he's had the lights go out on him twice.
I would completely understand if Dean's afraid.
And he's the one still standing after both encounters.
And as you notice, he's never done anything bad to Drake. He's never really made Drake face a consequence for any of these actions.
Because
he's untouched.
the minute that he does, that might change.
Yeah, and I think, Dean, I'm not saying anything derogatory here. Danger. You're my buddy. You're an honorary dude. But, dude, I get it if you're scared, but you still need to do something about this problem.
Maybe some added security. I don't know what the hell. I don't really know what the answer is.
Could we get Danger Dean like a Pope mobile that he just like rides around in, big glass light covered thing that he makes decisions out of?
Gonna be like Michael Cole at the announce table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bulletproof glass everywhere.
That's kind of what we need at this point. Johnny, the dude's chloroforming people. He's pretending he's El Gigante.
You don't think I see that?
9.
You don't think I see that? You don't think that's crossing my mind in like a month where I'm going to have to go down there and be in the area?
Dude, we know why Ice isn't going. He's scared.
Don't tell me that hasn't crossed my mind. It's definitely going to be it's going to be an ongoing situation if it's not attended to.
I'd rather go hang out in Ukraine right now.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, not quite that bad, but it's
getting there.
It's definitely I fear for myself every time I go to the Wimmer, and I fear for myself even walking out the door because I know that psycho can find out where I live, and we've seen him enter residence before as well.
Ask Boss.
Yeah. Ask Boss about that one. Movie night.
Poor kids. All right. That's going to conclude this episode of Charge. Final thoughts before we talk about Peak a little bit.
Whose blood was it? That's my big question.
Yeah, that's the big question. Also, the big question to me is, what is going to happen between Lilith and Lola and the Asylum at Peak of the Pack? All kinds of stuff going on there. So, and also with. I'm going to tell you guys right now that I promise you that I will try to get some answers for the Peak of the Pack match by Ignition. I will make some phone calls and do some investigative journalism to get some answers on exactly who's involved in Peak of the Pack by Ignition, so that way on Friday we're not going in totally clueless. So.
Absolutely. That would be great, Lucas. Pull those strings.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, Peak of the Pack is this Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time over on Fite TV. I don't think it's available for pre-order as of right now. I'm surprised that it's not, but we'll have Coastal Crusader on there real quick to let you guys know if it's available. The doors will be open for VIPs at 6:15, which is right around the time that the pre-show is going to begin. And the pre-show is going to be streamed on YouTube. So if you're not in the Denver area and you're not on Fite just yet, make sure you turn to YouTube around 1:15, wherever you are around the world. Do the math. And to tune into the pre-show, because there will be some matches leading up to Peak of the Pack. And then, obviously, at 7 o'clock, the YouTube stream goes off, goes right on to Fite, and from 7 o'clock on, it's all Peak of the Pack on Fite TV.
It is not up yet. Probably be on the lookout for that in the next couple days, I would assume.
All right. Predictions, boys. We have 5 matches besides the Peak of the Pack. We're not going to predict the Peak of the Pack, obviously, because we don't know who's in it, and we don't know if there are any changes in the format of this year's Peak of the Pack. So, we have 5 matches here. Charge Championship, Remy D versus Carson Drake, CBD.
Remy.
Yeah. I would say Remy is going to defend. Carson Drake's been on a roll, but Remy has been a great charge champion. I don't see that ending at Peak of the Pack.
All right. Will Gino and Nathan Estrada pull it together for one night as they go up against the high-flying La Isla for the tag team champions?
No, Lisa's got this. They are a well-oiled unit. Even Gino, he told us so, but I don't believe him until I hear it from Nathan Estrada and see it on Friday. But I got my money's on Isla.
Yeah, it's asking a little too much, even if they can get on the same page for them to be able to pull this one off. La Isla has just been really one of the hottest teams in all of professional wrestling that I've seen. So, yeah, I got to go with La Isla.
Will Noel get into the mind of Lilith and come out on top in her encounter with her? Or will Lilith not only get her hands on her former best friend and put an end to that relationship, but possibly become one step closer to going at the head of the asylum in Salem and JC, possibly a milestone?
I think Lilith does come out victorious in this, but I think the demon does show its face, and I don't
We
know.
caught a glimpse of it tonight. We didn't even really touch on that too much. You saw Lilith's face.
And how it used to be.
She was tweaking, man.
And here's the thing. Salem said last week, be careful what you wish for to Preston. Well, he needs to be careful what he wishes for. He says he wants a nice home for that demon. That demon is going to come in and wreck your home and then leave and then come back in Milestone and take your title if you are not careful.
Yeah, I think that Lilith is ready to finally do damage to the asylum. She hasn't been able to get the best of them. I think now she is in the right frame of mind, which that's a scary thought. But yeah, I think it's Lilith.
Will we have one of the biggest upsets in RMP history as Lola the Adventurer could pull out the impossible and beat JC for the Lockett's Championship?
As much as we have talked about the Asylum and how dominant they are, Lucas made an amazing point earlier where they are not focused on Lola, and we've seen over the past course of 8 to 12 months now what happens when you're not focused on Lola. You get wrapped up, and the adventure becomes a loss for you. I'm picking Lola to come out victorious. The law office will have gold again, but it's going to be Lola's, and the adventure will be complete. X marks the spot. Lola walks out with a title.
Wow, you and I are on the same page, because I've also got Lola pulling off the upset. This is what she does, guys. This is what she does, and I think she is going to catch JC by surprise, and we're going to have a new Lockett's champion.
And of course, we have the battle of the double Ds here, as we have Dak Draper going up against David Drake for the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship. Guys, do you think that Dak Draper is mentally prepared to go up against your Rocky Mountain Pro champion, David Drake, or is David Drake just going to do what he normally does?
If I hadn't seen Dak Draper tonight in the shape he was in, I would have said that this match was going to be a coin flip, and this is going to be the most intense challenge David Drake has faced. Dak Draper looked scared to me, and I don't blame him, but I've never seen Dak Draper look like that. And man, I've watched in Ring of Honor, old Rocky Mountain Pro, this recent Rocky Mountain Pro run, and this was not him tonight. He's looking over his shoulder. He didn't look confident. His hair wasn't even done. I'm telling you, it's Drake again, because push comes to shove, Drake turns you into a different person, and it's not a good turn.
Yeah, I did see a different Dak Draper tonight than I ever have, but I know I've been bad-mouthing President Dean a lot lately, but I have to have belief that he's got something up his sleeve, that he's got something to combat. He has to, and I think that seeing his friend in the shape that he was tonight at the end of the show, I think Dean is going to have a surprise for David Drake. I really do, come at peak of the pack. And I think it'll benefit Dak Draper in this match. And, sometimes when you're put into a situation like Dak Draper has been, if you're a fighting person and you have that fighting spirit, you figure out a way to overcome it all and become the person that you're meant to be. I think Dak Draper is going to be able to come out with the best game plan that he's ever had and find out a way to beat David Drake. It may be me wishful thinking, it may be me hoping so, but I think Dak Draper walks out your Rocky Mountain Pro champion. I know that's crazy talk, but I have to hold on to some kind of faith, guys.
We got to have faith, Lucas.
All right, and I just want to give everybody a reminder because I know there was a little bit of confusion over the past month or so between Charge and Ignition in terms of the rules. The new rules will be in play at Peak of the Pack and going forward. All the old rules are done after tonight. Everything you see from now on will all be under the new rules of Rocky Mountain Pro. So these new rules could very well have a huge outcome in these matches.
Absolutely.
Especially the big one for a lot of these matches, the disqualification rule. Where if you get disqualified and you are the champion, you lose those titles and they go to your competitor or your opponent.
We saw it on the rewind. This couple past Sundays ago, we saw Curtis Cole lose his Charge Championship that way.
So,
don't forget that we've seen Remy D over the past couple weeks on Ignition. We've seen Remy D not quite be himself and kind of blow his lid and get himself disqualified. There were non-title matches, but if that happens against Carson Drake, we have a new Charge champion as well.
Yep. And if Salem gets involved in that match and he gets caught, Lola's your new Lock S champion.
Yeah.
If Drake pulls another one of his stunts like he did at Never Broken, you will have a new RMP champion. So, and that's on top of all the other new rules that have been implemented into Rocky Mountain Pro over the past few weeks on Ignition. It's now official, though. Everything that you see from now on will be under those new rules. Tonight was the last night. Other than that, folks, I think we're just about done here on Recharge.
Cool.
Coastal, I know that we will see you on Ignited.
Yes,
this Thursday.
I will be there.
Lucas, I know you will be on the table doing your thing over on Ignition.
Yes. Also, me and Mr. Fourth Row, we are going to do a Peak of the Pack preview. I am going to try to see if I can get any additional information on stuff, so be on the lookout for that. You might have some breaking news on RMP Radio coming out possibly tomorrow or early on Thursday, so just be on the lookout for that as well.
And that's RMP Radio on all your podcasting platforms, Spotify, iTunes. Actually, you know what? Why am I even doing this right now? Coastal, can you take care of this for me?
You can hear RMP Radio on Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Breaker, iTunes, and wherever else you listen to your podcast platforms.
Oh, you are rusty.
I am a little rusty. I haven't done that in a while.
All right. Lucas, final thoughts on Peak of the Pack, because we're not going to be able to talk to you until next Tuesday. So, your thoughts going into this event?
So, Peak of the Pack is the official start of the march to Milestone, guys. That's we will know once Peak of the Pack is over with. We are going to know a lot about what will be happening at Milestone, and you all know Milestone is our Super Bowl. It is our biggest event of the year. So we are just on the brink of getting into the march to Milestone.
And Coastal, I'll pop that same question to you on Thursday. You can save your breath for now. Yep, that a boy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I know it was a little bit of a disaster tonight, especially with the Open. I have all.
That's a good show.
I have all the things. I'll be getting that fixed up for Thursday for sure. Actually, I'll probably get it done. It'll only take me 5 seconds. But it was a good show. Thank you, Lucas, as always, for hopping on and giving us as much info as you can. Your input definitely helps on this show and Rocky Mountain Pro as well. So we thank you very much. And Coastal, you're just a dude. Anyways, guys.
Dude, you're a dude. He's a dude.
We're all good dudes, eh?
Yeah.
With food. Anyways.
Yeah.
We will see you guys on Thursday for another episode of Dudes and Belts Reignited, the final post show before Peak of the Pack, and honestly, one of the first shows you'll see on the road to Milestone, man. It's going to be a very exciting ride. Very exciting. Can't wait. As always, folks, for myself, Johnny Deathdrop, Coast Crusader, and Lucas Bradwell himself, you'll see him on Thursday. You'll see him on Thursday. You'll see me on Thursday. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see you on the next one. We out. And thank God.